In just a few minutes, I'm going to share with you 3 recommendations from Pope Benedict XVI on how to improve your fundraising. Hi, I'm Brice Sokolowski, the founder of CatholicFundraiser.net, a website that's completely dedicated 100% to helping Catholics just like you with their fundraising. Whether you're starting out, you're trying to find new ways of fundraising, you're just trying to really grow, you are in the right place. Now, before we dive into the recommendations of Pope Benedict, I just want to make sure that you download absolutely for free the 10 Commandments to Catholic Fundraising. These are 10 things that I've learned that are extremely helpful when wanting to fundraise in the Catholic context. It's been downloaded by thousands of people. Overall, 2 thumbs up. It's very, very helpful. You can download it. The link is going to be right below. Just click the link, follow the instructions, and you will get absolutely for free the 10 Commandments to Catholic Fundraising. Okay, let's talk about Pope Benedict XVI. You know who he is. Most everybody, I would think, knows who he is. Fantastic Pope. I'm a big fan. And I have in my hand one of his encyclicals, Saved in Hope. Saved in Hope. This is a great source for fundraising because, well, a lot of fundraising, we're usually saying as Catholics, I hope my campaign works. I hope people donate. I hope that I raise money. We use the word hope a lot. So I thought it would be a great idea to dig into what Pope Benedict recommends with his encyclical, Saved in Hope. How does the hope that he's talking about relate to our hope as fundraisers to raise the money that we need for our nonprofits, our charities, our missions, our vocations, whatever it is that we're doing? And within this document, I highly recommend reading it for your faith, but at the same time, I think it's very, very helpful with fundraising. And within it, I'm just going to highlight 3 specific recommendations or pieces of advice that Pope Benedict shares in this encyclical that I think would be really, really helpful for you. So here are 3 recommendations from Pope Benedict XVI and his encyclical, Saved in Hope, on how to improve your fundraising. All right, number 1, and if you see me look down or you hear me pause, it's because, well, I'm reviewing my notes, which also are included. Just click the link below and you will find my notes. So the number 1, the first recommendation piece of advice is Pope Benedict talks about what he calls the lesser hopes of life. And he describes it as, and I'm paraphrasing him, we need the greater and lesser hopes that keep us going day by day. Hope for a better world, hope for a certain position in our professional life, hope for a fundraising campaign, and some success that will more or less kind of like prove decisive in the rest of our lives. So these are the lesser hopes, and we live with them day by day, especially with fundraising. But he does say, Pope Benedict does say, that these are not enough without the greater hope, which must, as he says, surpass everything else. So it's okay to hope that your fundraising campaign works. However, this piece of advice has to be connected with his second piece of advice, and that is the greater hope of life. You know what it is. It's what he describes, a first essential setting for learning hope is prayer. So the way that you find this greater hope of life is through your prayer life. And this is important because he says, when no one listens anymore, God listens. And this is really, really important in fundraising because sometimes when you're asking for donations, people don't listen, people don't donate. So you have to turn to God. And again, he says, when I can no longer talk to anyone or call upon anyone, I can always talk to God. Now, it's not to say that you're calling God and asking God for a donation, but at the same time, you are talking to him and saying, man, I'm really struggling, or I need your help, or I need a bit of guidance. So you have to make sure that you have a solid prayer life. This is one of the key elements that I talk about in my 10 Commandments. It's one of the things, I'm not a spiritual director, but it's one of the things that I help people lay a foundation for prayer, that we make sure that they have a priest or they have some type of religious person that they're connecting with, that they have a solid prayer life, because the lesser hopes, which advice number 1, those are good to have. With advice number 2, you've got to have a strong prayer life, especially with fundraising, because when people don't donate, it can be very, very, very disheartening. And that's what prayer is all about, is the greater hope. Lesser hope is good, but without that greater hope, that lesser hope of a good fundraising campaign is going to be very, very, very difficult. And the last piece of advice from Pope Benedict is called hope in action. Hope in action. All serious and upright human conduct is hope in action. Pope Benedict is telling us to take action. And I'm paraphrasing him. We strive to realize our lesser and greater hopes, for example, a fundraising campaign, to complete this or that task which is important for our onward journey. So these things are good. A fundraising campaign can be good. However, our daily efforts in pursuing our own lives and in working for the world's future either tire us or turn us into fanaticism. Unless we are enlightened by the radiance of the great hope that cannot be destroyed even by small-scale failures or by a breakdown in matters of what he calls, Pope Benedict, historical importance. So you've got to take your hope in action through the bigger hope, hope in prayer, and hope in what you're doing, and put those things together and take action. So if you fail in fundraising, go to the bigger hope, speak to God, build on your prayer life, and then go back and take action. Always take action. Don't get upset that what you hope for in fundraising doesn't work out. Build that prayer life, move forward as Pope Benedict is telling us, and that is fundraising with the help of Pope Benedict. I hope that you found this helpful. God love you. Thank you for your attention. Please share this with a friend, and take care, and speak to you next week. Bye-bye.